There's a moment most parents miss, and it usually sounds like this. You ask your child how they're doing, and they say, "I'm fine," a little too quickly, with a small smile that doesn't quite reach their eyes. And something in you feels unsettled, but life moves on, and that moment quietly disappears. If you're watching this, there's a chance this isn't just about kids in general. It might be about your child, or maybe it's about the child you used to be. The one who learned early how to say, "I'm okay," even when something inside felt heavy, confusing, or lonely. Children don't pretend they're okay because they're good liars. They pretend because they are very good observers. They watch faces, tones, reactions, and silences, and slowly they learn what feels safe to share and what feels better to keep inside. At first, kids are incredibly open. They cry without shame, ask uncomfortable questions, and express big feelings without filtering them. But over time, something shifts, and that shift is usually shaped by tiny moments, not big dramatic ones. Maybe they shared something once and felt dismissed. Maybe they were told they were overreacting, too sensitive, or that it wasn't a big deal. Or maybe no one had the time or emotional space to really listen, even though no harm was intended. So the child adapts, not in a rebellious way, but in a quiet, protective way. They learn that being okay keeps the peace, keeps connection, and avoids uncomfortable reactions from the people they love most. For many kids, pretending they're okay isn't about hiding pain. It's about protecting relationships. They sense when adults are stressed, overwhelmed, or emotionally unavailable, and they don't want to add to that weight. A child might think, "If I talk about this, Mom will worry," or "If I say how I feel, Dad might get upset," or even, "No one really understands anyway." So staying quiet feels safer than being honest. There's also a subtle reward system at play. Children are often praised for being easy, mature, well-behaved, or independent. And without realizing it, they learn that being low maintenance earns approval. When a child sees that calmness is praised and emotional expression is corrected, they internalize a powerful message. They learn that love feels more secure when they don't take up too much emotional space. This is especially true for sensitive children. Sensitive kids feel deeply, but they also notice deeply. They notice sighs, facial changes, and emotional distance, even when no words are spoken. So instead of saying, "I'm not okay," they say, "I'm fine," and they carry their feelings alone. Over time, that habit becomes part of their identity, not just a response. If this topic resonates with you and you find yourself reflecting in quiet ways, I invite you to gently subscribe to Mind Grooming. This channel is a space for understanding emotions, behavior, and inner growth without judgment, and you're always welcome here. One of the hardest parts is that kids who pretend they're okay often look like they're doing great on the outside. They might be polite, successful, helpful, and emotionally controlled, which makes their inner struggle easy to overlook. Adults often worry about the loud child, the angry child, or the rebellious child. But the quiet child who never complains is often carrying feelings no one thinks to ask about. And when no one asks, or when asking feels unsafe, children don't stop feeling. They just stop sharing. Over time, this pattern can shape how they relate to their own emotions. They may struggle to name what they feel, minimize their needs, or feel guilty for wanting support. Some grow into adults who say, "I'm fine," automatically, even in moments of deep stress or sadness. They might be highly functional, yet emotionally disconnected from themselves. What's heartbreaking is that most parents never intended this outcome. They were doing their best with what they knew, under their own pressures and emotional limits. This isn't about blame, it's about awareness. Because once you understand why kids pretend they're okay, you can begin to change the emotional environment around them. And the change doesn't require perfection, long talks, or dramatic interventions. It starts with how we respond to small moments. When a child shares something emotional and we slow down instead of rushing to fix it, something powerful happens. When we validate before we advise, they feel seen instead of managed. Simple responses like, "That sounds really hard," or "I'm glad you told me," create emotional safety. They tell the child that their inner world matters, even when it's uncomfortable. It's also important to watch how we react nonverbally. Kids pay attention to tone, posture, and facial expressions more than words. A distracted or tense response can feel like rejection, even if the words are kind. Another key piece is allowing emotions without immediately labeling them as problems. Sadness, frustration, and fear aren't signs of weakness. They're signs of being human. When kids see that emotions are allowed, they don't need to hide them to feel accepted. If you're a parent watching this, it's never too late to rebuild emotional openness. You can start by gently checking in without pressure and by listening more than you speak. If you were once the child who pretended to be okay, this awareness can be healing too. You might recognize patterns in yourself that finally make sense, and that understanding can be deeply freeing. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Did this resonate with your experience, either as a parent or as a child who learned to hide their feelings? Sharing your story might help someone else feel less alone. And if this video made you think of someone specific, a child, a parent, or even a friend who always says they're fine, consider sharing this with them. Sometimes a video like this opens a door that words alone can't. At the heart of it all, kids don't pretend they're okay because they want distance. They do it because they want connection without risk. They want love that feels safe. When we understand that, we stop seeing emotional withdrawal as a problem to correct and start seeing it as a signal to gently respond to. And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can offer a child isn't advice or solutions. It's the quiet assurance that they don't have to be okay to be loved. If you stay curious, stay present, and stay emotionally available, you give them permission to come back to themselves. And that permission can change everything. Thank you for being here, for caring enough to watch until the end, and for doing the quiet inner work that truly matters. I'll see you in the next video.